Hello and welcome to the FSF PopCast Live Edition. All right, guys, welcome to the FSF PopCast, the live edition, the live show where we make many vocal mistakes and, well, yeah. But anyway, we're the live show that tries to get you to like our better looking and better researched pre-recorded cousin. Seems accurate.
It is, yeah, right. The version of us that John has edited out all of the ridiculousness. Well, not all the ridiculous.
Yeah, all the raspberries and me going, I think this is what it is. That's
well,
going to be used against me. I just know it.
What?
John's like, I'll pull that from the live file.
Right? He probably would.
He will. I know it. I'm counting on it.
All right. Well, before we get into tonight's show, I get to do all of Nick's talking parts tonight. That's confusing and weird. Anyway.
We are Nicholas. Nick is gone.
We are. And he will be forever missed.
At least until next week.
Right? But anyway, before we get into tonight's show, we need to take a moment to thank our show sponsor, Level Up Sabers.
Go buy a saber. Anyway, there's thing right there on the screen. I'm pointing at it. Hold on. There it is. Yep, I can do it. Okay.
Point that thing at me.
I actually cannot hear you over the blade. That's kind of funny. All right.
He's like carrying the lightsaber with me anytime I'm around Kathleen now.
I might have to turn that back on.
I forgot that this one does that. Anyway.
Yeah. Let's see.
The tiny human's lightsaber instead of my own because it's shorter and I don't hit the mirror with it.
Well, yeah. Well, smaller swinging distance, easier to hit the husband with.
It's the Yoda-sized one.
There you go.
All right, but as you guys see, the link is in the comment section and the show notes. Go buy a lightsaber. You know you want to.
Exactly. Yeah, go buy a level up saber. You will be very happy with.
There's still the promo code if you go to his TikTok and watch it or not.
I'll have to double check. Maybe we'll try and look into that before the end of the show and let you guys know. See if we can find that.
John, look it up for us.
Yeah, put it in the comments there, John. You know, because you're like,
obviously
already saying how much editing there is. Yeah, rude.
You are obviously the brains of this operation, so.
Honora, that would be awesome. Let's play lightsabers. Deal done. All right. You just can't whack me like I've seen you whack your dad with it. I know you do. All right.
Honora, your mommy and Tim's wife will set up a play date for you guys.
Yay! That's my age group, man. That's where I'm solid. All right. Before we get into anything seriously fun, we want to talk about something serious. So we've brought it up several times. We have this GoFundMe right here. And what that's for is it's for our show family member named Ben Riley. You guys know Ben. He's been part of our Star Wars group, our Star Wars game every month. He's been here on our live show so many times. Ben has been a guest host on our pre-recorded episodes with everybody that comes to the show. But Ben and his wife Mimi and their dog Josie, I did it again.
I'm proud of you.
I know, right? So they lost their home, and they are now in a very small RV. It's more like a large van than an RV, but they need some help. And we're trying to do everything that we can to get attention to this GoFundMe. Please look it up. Even if you can only give $1, $5, $10, Ben, Mimi, and Josie are more than deserving of your money. And if you can't afford to share any money, please at least share the link. You see it there in the notes. It'll also be down in the show notes down below at the end of the episode. So you guys can just copy paste that into your browser and go give it a look. But please do what you can. Give Ben and Mimi the help that they need so they can stay warm and dry this year. throughout the winter months.
Like Tim mentioned, they do have a place that they are currently staying. However, it's not ideal.
It's a little rough at times.
It's a little rough, and Ben is attempting to make it as safe and hospitable as he can for their little family. There are some concerns with it getting too hot during the day because it is Florida and Florida is evil. And so Josie is having trouble staying in the van during the day because can't leave your dog in the hot car during the day.
And Florida.
You can't let her run outside the car because gators. Because Florida.
It's like I say. So yeah, please, seriously, please take a look at that. Help out Ben and Mimi and their cute little puppy Josie. That would be incredible if you could. And then also, John says here that the promo code is available in Level Up Saber's Patreon page. It's only $1 for the Patreon, and the coupon is worth way more than $1. And he is absolutely right. There's some really cool stuff in there, so go check that out on their Patreon page. And then also, we've been doing this the last couple of weeks. We have a promo video for. We're doing some promo swaps with a few of the guys here on different shows. And so tonight we played this last week. We're going to play it one more time. You might even see one of these faces later. It might be look a little familiar to you. Here it is.
We are Science Fiction Remnant
with Giancarlo
and Robert
and Ray, way down here in Australia.
Bring your multipass
and join our conversations. You'll meet popsicles.
I still love that he calls everybody meat popsicles. That makes me laugh. So, but that's the guys at Science Fiction Remnant. Yeah, go check them out. It's a great show. That I love how they do deep dives into different shows, but they don't leave the audience behind. If you're not familiar with it, whatever it is, you're not, don't know what's going on. Don't worry. They're not going to leave you behind. They're going to bring you along with, and you're going to have a lot of fun listening to them riff about each and every show that they do. But yeah, so that's that. And then one last thing, since you're here, and if you're in the comments and watching from our YouTube channel, this seems like a great time to remind you to take the opportunity to please do as the banner says down below, click like and subscribe. Your liking and subscribing of this show helps our pre-recorded episodes, which come out every Friday morning, and you get to see those, and you'll have an opportunity to really enjoy what's going on there. But also, if you'd like to help, you can do this. You can buy us a coffee. Look at that wonderful opportunity to give us some of your money so that we can continue to make content for you. Help offset a little bit of the cost. Somebody's bored during all of my monologuing. I'm not going to say who it is, but it must be Kathleen. Anyway,
that's my comments. I don't know if you're going to find the other one.
Yes, and our editor needs much Lafroig. He has to listen to our ramblings.
And live with me.
He needs some Lagavulin too for that. And Science Fiction Remnant. Hello, Science Fiction Remnant. And yes, coffee is the best. Not only do we like drinking it, but we like it. Yeah. Somebody else is bored waiting in the back room. I'm not going to say who that is. Anyway, so let's get into it. We have people waiting in the back room. Apparently they're bored. I'm monologuing too much.
As Tim is just rambling.
I apparently am. So
let's welcome our guests for tonight, though. First, we have Juston from Big Boy Graphics and
Yeah. No, I don't think she'll get the couch. John likes to snuggle a little too much.
This is a queen-sized bed. I have the crown. I stay here.
So that happened. Sorry about that, John. Anyway, let's bring Juston in.
It's an argument we have on a regular basis.
I think it's that you went right for the crown comment. How you doing, Juston? Welcome to the show.
Good evening, all.
Reach it. All right. We also have Gio from Science Fiction Remnant.
Gio,
who is muted.
You are muted, my good man.
There you go. You. That's why they call me Captain Caveman. I always have to mess it up. At the intro or the exit.
One of us was bound to.
Thanks for having me, guys. I love listening to the podcast and watching the live streams, and it's great to be here.
Oh, thank you. We're glad to have you.
Warm and fuzzies.
Aww.
Great popsicles.
He is chaos. Yes. There it is. So Gio, take a minute to, even though we just played your guys' video, take a moment to tell everybody about Science Fiction Remnant, where they can find you, and why they should be checking you out.
So basically, we are just three very good friends having that sci-fi talk. We talk about anything sci-fi, ranging from, oh, look, she has a crown.
Told you I had a crown.
And basically, ranging anything that you can consider sci-fi, comic books, manga, video games, movies, TV shows, anything. And we just love having fun and having deep conversations about all the topics around the properties that we talk about. And our listeners can find us on Twitter at Sci-Fi Remnant, like in the handle on the video, or they can go to sciencefictionremnant.com too, and they can find there we're streaming on all the radio medias like Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcasts, you name it, we're there. So go ahead and give it a check after the episode, and we hope that they enjoy it if they are new to it.
Yeah, absolutely. I highly recommend the show. I listen to it every week, and you can also catch a really good episode. It's one of the best ones out there. They had this really cool podcast on their show to talk about this movie called Galaxy Quest.
Yeah.
Oh wait, that was us. Yeah, that was us. Yeah. But yeah, go check out that episode. We had a ton of fun with Sci-Fi Remnant, and it's a good show. Check them out. You will not be disappointed. All right, Juston. So we want to introduce Juston to you guys. Now, Juston's not a podcaster, but what he is he, if you notice the show notes for the last probably about month, you will have noticed that there was a new show partner listed, and it says down in there, Big Boy Graphics. Well, he is the one, the only, the big boy who makes the graphics. So welcome, Juston. Welcome to the show. Thank you for being a partner and providing some materials for us to be able to share with our listeners and our guests. And so why don't you tell everybody about what those materials are and where they can find you?
Well, a little bit of background. I've known Tim for 26 years, so I just wanted to say.
All right, so that's enough of Juston for the night. And anyway,
it's amazing. Time warp. Anyways, okay. Thank you, Dr. Brown. All right. No, so, it's one of those things. I just kind of fell into it. We were talking, and, I've watched every one of your episodes. I recognize Gio, and whatever I can do to help out, I've always done that. And this right here is just kind of something that I fell into that would allow me to help you guys keep on going. I enjoy the show. I enjoy the guests, getting to have that semi-personal connection, being all from the great state of Michigan.
Whoop.
No, so vinyl graphics here. It's a high quality vinyl. It's made to last for up to 6 to 8 years. It is good for both indoor and outdoor. As you can see, I kind of have a somewhat familiar ship behind us, right? But what you can't buy, because I haven't put it out there yet, that right there is a TIE fighter.
Ooh.
That TIE fighter is also made out of a black holographic vinyl, very similar to the one that Tim has. So when you move it in the light, it will change colors. So it's not the same color when you're just looking at it from one different way. I have a lot of different things that are going to be coming out as well. Not just smalls, although right now, I am working on a lot of smalls. I also have some large wall mounts that are coming out. This one right here, I got to find a better way to ship it, but this one will be going to Tim.
Oh.
This is our chrome. As you can see, it is a mirror reflective.
I'm going to mute my mic. There will be some giggling. Hold on.
Yes.
Tim's like, why ship it? I will meet you halfway.
Tim is going to have problems in his house after you ship that because he's not going to stop staring at himself in the reflection.
Well, exactly.
Well, that's probably going to go here at my office so that I can still have that up on the wall and, not make my wife think I'm not.
I don't know her, but I can already imagine her. Tim, get out of the office. What are you doing hours in there?
Nothing.
He's trying to align his eyeballs so that he's wearing the mask. So
That might, you know what? Now that you say that, that might actually go on some cardboard and like tie it around my head.
She might think that he's trying to brainwash himself because she's just gonna hear inside the room very muffled. This is the way. This is the way.
Yeah, go blue.
His wife's going to have to yell from the other room, "I have spoken."
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
All right. So where can everybody find you, Justin?
Right now, I am on Etsy. Big Boy Graphics. Obviously, the show notes. Every week, I'm adding something different. Like Kathleen was showing too. I decorate my mug. Gotta love the dad bod, right?
That's fantastic.
And I'm not going to say anything, but there may be some clear ones that are on Tim's brake lights that he doesn't know about, but the cars behind him do. I don't know.
Hey, whatever.
You know.
It explains all the smiles I get when they drive by.
I am Groot, right? You know? And then we got some of the ones that are coming up here too. We even have the Porgs.
I love the Porgs.
Yeah. Working on some of them too. The thing is that I love ideas. So if there's something that you want that you don't see on there, message me in my store and I will make it for you. I will figure out what you want, how to do it. I will get a lot of those different things. I also have a bunch that I haven't even given samples out yet for that I'm still just kind of testing to see how they are. And I can also say that Kathleen right now, as of now, is the only one with my Doctor Who collection.
Yes, and I love them. I've got the Doctor Who one there. I've got the TARDIS on my laptop. The silhouettes of the Doctor's heads is on the back of my car. I've got a few more that I haven't figured out where I want to put them yet.
Yes.
Very cool.
I am also a huge Stargate fan. I have the Atlantis logo that's all over the place on all of their episodes. I got a new SG-1 that's coming. I'm also working on doing a whole collection of every single one of the Jaffa symbols and throwing them all together. And they will all match the... where is it? Here we go. The mirrored gold. So that way it gives it that true effect.
Nice.
This one's
as what would be on that Jaffa. So, yes.
Nice.
All right, very cool. All right, thank you for sharing all that. We'll make sure that, and if, like I said, guys, if you haven't noticed already, all that information for his store is down in the show notes down below. You guys will be able to find it down there. Go check it out. Send some orders Justin's way because he has been kind enough to donate a lot of vinyl, and I do mean a lot of vinyl, to the show so that we can continue to send out some cool stuff. And Sci-Fi Wise Guy says that Stargate beats all. I don't know about that, but okay.
You should do a collection of vinyl dinosaurs too.
But I want to go back to this real quick. John says, Gio, is that a Fender Mustang on your wall?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, John would notice that. He's a guitar guy. He says also appreciates your Claymore. So
yes, sir.
Yeah, he said he's a pre-show. He said he was a medieval Jedi because Kathleen and I were showing off our lightsabers. So
John can tell what kind of guitar it is from
I
there.
know. So Star Warsy knowledgeable as you guys. What's the name of the steel that the Mandalorian used?
The Beskar?
Yeah, that's what it's made of.
Nice.
Ooh.
So watch out with your lightsabers.
Excellent. All right, very cool. So hey, let's get into our topics for tonight. Now we're not going to go in any particular order. We're just going to, hail Zoltan, get it right.
I love that movie. I have not watched that movie in
yeah, dude,
months.
my car.
I should watch it again.
Exactly. But there you go. That was awesome.
How old are you, Tim?
I'm 12. Let's get into tonight's topic and let's talk about the best of 2022. So whether it was TVs or movies or webinars or whatever it was, what was something from this past year in sci-fi, pop culture, superhero, fantasy that you went, man, this is really cool. So glad I watched this. Go for it. Rude, Shayna. Rude.
Because men don't age past 12.
No, I think I like to think I'm stuck at 14 because at 12 I had 14, yeah,
And then all of a sudden you find yourself taking pictures like, oh, this orchid is so beautiful for my garden.
46-year-old man stuck with a 14-year-old brain going.
But you somehow you then go from 14 to 70, and there's no in between.
Nope. There's no
The
silver
problem
lining
is that our toys just get bigger as we
More
do.
expensive.
And more expensive. They're just, but when you find your niche,
There's a reason
gotta
why
go with
we men we don't live as long as women.
Oh, exactly.
We're trying something stupid every time.
But no good story ever started with I was eating a salad when.
Oh, exactly. Or hold my
That
milk.
would be a good plot for a movie now.
Gio, Robert wants you guys to record Dude, Where Is My Car as an episode, but you're going to have to hurry because the Sci-Fi Wise guys are going to try to beat you to it. So
Maybe you
we'll
guys
do it all together.
combine your powers.
there you go. Combine your superpowers. Bring it together. This show's about inclusivity. Let's make it happen.
Just
All right.
remember, you heard it here first.
There you go. All right, guys. So let's see. Justin, we'll start with you since you're the rookie on a podcast.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So what's one
do
show, movie, whatever from the last year that you really appreciated and you want other people to pay attention to?
Gosh.
This is riveting.
I know.
Podcasts thrive with silence.
Which is
Well,
Dead
that
air.
is what is best.
Yeah.
I would have to say I would just have to appreciate the availability of everything being available right now so that when you have down days, you are able to slam stream everything.
Okay.
Even with Andor, I appreciated that because for a second, I'm kind of like, why did he have to have a backstory? Not everybody has to have a backstory. But then when they start bringing in all these little things that have a bigger impact later on or a bigger clarification that are that way, I would have to say something like that for right now.
Okay, cool. Gio, any thoughts?
Actually, from sci-fi, there's a show that just released in Amazon that I loved. It's called Peripheral. I don't know if you guys have watched it. Oh my god, that show is amazing, man.
Yes, it is. It's very good.
It's one of those shows, and I love shows like that. Also, another one that I really like that I'm watching is they still making it in HBO Max. Raised by Wolves.
I have not watched that one.
Oh my god! If you start watching it, I warn you, you're gonna be binge watching it, and you have to work next day, and you're gonna be at 2 a.m. still watching it. That's how good it is. Kind of what happened when Altered Carbon came out, and Robert and I were just watching it till 2 a.m, and we both had to work at the other day.
Yeah.
But I mean, those shows it gives you that feeling like one of those shows like when you finish, you feel like your life is empty again because you finished. That's how good it is.
I understand. Yeah, I think right now I think I'm 2 episodes behind on Peripheral. So I watched, all the first like 4 or 5, but I've got the last couple that I need to catch up on so that I can figure out some of the stuff that's going on. But that show is so well written and casting has been phenomenal in that. And shameless plug, we interviewed Lewis Hertham, who is on that show. And that is available on our YouTube channel now for you guys to be able to watch. So we talk a bit about the Peripheral and a few other things that he did out there. But yeah, that's a really good episode. Lewis is a really cool dude. So
oh yes, definitely. And I mean, getting out of the sci-fi realm because I don't get to do that much in my show.
Sure. Yeah.
The Rings of Power, man. I'm a Lord of the Rings diehard fan. Oh my god, that show is awesome.
That was actually one of the ones that I was going to bring up was the Rings of Power. Now, I know that a lot of people have issue with Rings of Power because, they can only go so far back in the Tolkien lore and what, the Tolkien estate is allowing them to have access to and all these different things. And so some people are feeling like they're creating contradiction in the lore. Do you have any thoughts about that or do you care?
No, not to be honest. I thought I had read all of them. I got to find out I went to a library not too long ago, and I found out that there's like 4 books that I have no knowledge of. So I have written maybe 4 or 5 times the Lord of the Rings 1, 2, and 3, and The Hobbit. But other than that, and the Silmarillions. But that's about it, you know. So there's a good amount of data that I still now. I actually made a list of them, and like I
Nice.
need to go over them because I mean I love Lord of the Rings, and I've done maybe each book at least 4 or 5 times minimum. That's how much I like it. And my current 4 TV is watching Lord of the Rings.
So Waffle
But I
says
don't
that he
think
has an
so.
issue with Rings of
Um,
Power, mostly that it was only 8 episodes.
oh yeah, that's the
Yeah.
bad thing. Now we have to wait. That comes the pain in the waiting game.
You know, one of the things I like most about Lord of the Rings of Power series is that they went into this season with a plan. It wasn't just that they were worried about this season and golly, we hope we have another season after this one. They came with a certain number of hours prepared and ready of story and everything. So there's more than one season planned out. So now the first season's done. Now they can go right into production for the second one and carry it on and carry on. So
Agreed.
yeah, and I thought they did a really good job. I actually liked the casting. I know a lot of people had a problem with Elrond,
Mm-mm.
the casting
I
of
like it.
Elrond. I thought he was really good.
Me too.
I loved, and I can't think of her name right now, and I feel so bad for it. The dwarf's wife.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh, she sings beautifully, man.
Yeah, not only
Wow.
could no, she doesn't sing, Gio. She sangs. There's a difference. That girl has pipes. She
Oh
sangs,
yeah. Oh my god.
and but I just loved her attitude and the way that she carried out that attitude all the way through there. And you know, when her husband would go off and say something because you know he was the prince and he's this, and you know, and she's like, yeah, you might be the prince, but
He's the boss.
yeah,
But at the same time, something just to a segue to that, which I loved part of her character because of that is she is kind of a symbolism of how important is the what family means, you know.
yeah,
But she brings all of that together as being the woman of the house and being an important equal partner to the prince and giving him support when he actually found himself self-doubting because his father was not really looking at his uh, thoughts or whatever he was saying with the importance that he wanted to, you know, and how he received Elrond and he kind of brought them together again. It
yeah.
was very nice. So there's a lot deeper into her character that many might not notice actually.
Yeah, I think you're right on that, and I think that that's something that can be explored more as the seasons go. You know, because we're going to see more of interaction between the elves and the dwarves. I think in season 2, with now that they know what the mithril is, and you know,
Oh yeah.
things like that. So
That's
okay,
so,
I was also very happy to see that they did not embrace the whole dwarf women having big beards just like the men, like you know they joked about in the actual trilogies. So
mhm. I mean, she did have some fuzz, but nothing like significant.
right, exactly, yes.
And that, yeah, and he's curious that you mentioned that because if you think about it, when you look at dwarves in all the other movies that have been done, you don't really get to see a dwarf woman. You
Right.
get to see some corpses that have been there already ashed out
Mhm.
for centuries, you know. But you don't get to see that part, so it gives you like that's something that a lot of the Rings and Hobbit left to wanting is you wanted a little bit more grasp of that universe, and they didn't give you much. You stay kind of in the storyline of what's happening between the whole Rings, Bilbo, and the Baggins and everything, you know. So
Yeah.
that's something nice that I really liked. I mean, I love to the part when they actually traveled through the sea to what supposedly they were going to the west to the other land, and like that was mystery to me, you know. And when I saw it like that, I was like, wow, okay, this is interesting. Even let me wonder, do they actually go somewhere or do they die? This is a kamikaze traveling. Nobody ever comes back from there, you
Right.
know. So it opened a lot of questions. It was very thought-provoking the way that it was made, but I think that artfully and beautifully made.
yeah, very good. And two things. So real fast. Hi, Jason. Jason Taylor from Three Geeks Podcast, another amazing podcast. Go check them out. But the other thing I really liked was some of the character reveals they did and how they brought Gandalf into the story and how they you know, because honestly, when they first show him, I was like, oh, that's Sauron. You know, it's got to be. And then I'm
Yep.
like, and then I started talking to a couple of my friends, Justin included, and we all kind of came to the conclusion, no, that's got to be Gandalf, just because some of the things that we were seeing in some of the episodes, and then when it got to the end of the season, I thought, oh man, were we wrong? Because then I started thinking he was evil again, and oh man, here it comes, and yeah, and then
I
you
caught
figure
on
out
right
who
away.
is
It
Sauron.
was Gandalf. Right
Yeah,
away, I caught on it. And I don't know if you noticed. I think that the little people he's with, I think that their name was like Brandy Bucks, right?
yeah,
And if you think about it, Maria Doc Pepe is descendant of the Brandy Books,
Mm-hmm.
if
yeah,
I'm not mistaken. So
yeah,
and they were like migrating race.
yeah.
So
They
I
were Harfoots. They weren't hobbits quite
Hartford.
yet. They were Harfoots,
But
which
I think that it was a beautifully like way that they actually kind of put it in there that this might be what the hobbits became centuries after.
yeah,
And I
yeah. I
love
think
that
there was
there's that connection between um between the hobbits and Gandalf, even before they're actually hobbits. Like you can see how much he loves them and why he loves them.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was a very nice tie-in. All right. Any other thoughts on Rings of Power before we move on?
I was also curious if anybody thought that perhaps when you see that little chute in the burnt out area, if that is actually what becomes the Shire and where they settle later on,
Ooh. It might.
right? Because you go from this nation of people that are nothing but migratory people, and now they, right, with third, fourth, and fifth breakfast, right, they're ravenous eaters and that kind of thing. But yet now the bounty that comes from that, and Gandalf was instantly able to reverse what was going on. So that was kind of something I'm waiting to see if they're going to reveal that as
Interesting. I'm
being.
gonna have to go
Oh
back
yeah.
and watch
And
watch that. I don't think I caught that.
the only other thing that I probably knew this at one point in time and forgot it. It has been so long since I've actually read the books, but we were seeing the relationship between Elrond and Galadriel in Rings of Power. Do not forget that Galadriel is Elrond's mother-in-law. Like Galadriel is Arwen's grandma.
Oh, yeah.
And it's one of those things that I'm like, I forget that. I probably knew it at one point. It showed up when I was looking for what the dwarven princess's name is, and it's Diza. And it shows up in the Google thing with the what's the connection between Arwen and Galadriel? I'm like, all right, that's a thing.
I did not know that either. All right, cool. And I think too that one of the nice things for me is to being able to see Galadriel's personality and more of her backstory being shown in this series, because I think what's happened is that if you didn't read the books and you only watched the Lord of the Rings movies, you don't get to really see Galadriel all that much.
Right.
And you get to see her as this elf who's just kind of out in the in the high woods elf, and she's got power clearly, but you only see a couple glimpses of it. But to
Yeah.
see her as somebody who's not only has power, but somebody who can hold her own with a sword, and and really do some work, was kind of, for me, was really very kind of cool, to see that type of empowerment and personality brought to the screen. So I liked that quite a bit.
Oh yeah, I loved it too. And I mean, it gives you that whole connection that she's a complete warrior too, not just some
Yeah.
kind of witch queen that has magical powers.
Absolutely.
I also love that they brought you like that little piece of the descendants of whose Aragorn was, because they talk about Numenor, the men of Numenor, but you never get to see in a lot of the Rings saga or in the
Right.
Hobbit anything about Numenor, because it was taken away. So that was
Right.
also like wow, and how beautifully everything was made too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, that's a really good point as well. All right, let's go back a little bit in the year. So for me, one of the biggest releases of 2022 happened in the month of May, on May 27th. Obi-Wan.
Mm-hmm.
So, absolutely, as anybody knows, I'm a huge Star Wars fan. So yeah, I know, shocker, right?
Really?
Yeah, I personally am very shocked and surprised that I'm a Star Wars fan.
Nobody has ever heard that before.
I know,
I'm
right?
just learning this now.
After
Wow.
26 years?
Yeah, I know.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
I'm sorry, John. I cannot list off all of the dwarves and the dwarven lineage and all of that nonsense. I have real world responsibilities in my brain.
she's like a mom and stuff. God.
I have to remember when people's doctor's appointments are and what people want for dinner.
God. But I really enjoyed Obi-Wan. I liked the way that they portrayed him to start off. What with everything that he had gone through, with the loss of Anakin and the fight that he had done with Anakin and all those, and having the PTSD of going through all that. And I thought that they showed PTSD really very well and pretty accurately.
Yeah.
Especially for a space opera. I think they did it. I think they handled it pretty well. Robert, those are fighting words. Anyway,
It's not sci-fi, Robert. It's fantasy in space.
that's
It's
right.
Space opera.
It's space opera. It's space fantasy. It totally is.
You guys are gonna make Tim and Robert ache.
Yeah. Robert and I might become frenemies after this. I don't know. But I loved that. I loved the fact that when they did show Darth Vader, he wasn't just standing there and quipping lines and force choking people from across the room. That scene of him coming through the town. What's that?
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah, no, not at all. Absolutely. I mean, I love that. Like in Rogue One, you don't choke on your aspirations, and he's
The hallway
choking
scene of Rogue One.
the hallway scene. But I love the fact that we got the hallway scene in the town, and he was going through, and I was like, we're getting more. He's doing the things.
And that's the thing, like, that we talked about leading up to the release of Obi-Wan, was that we wanted to see why Vader was scary. Because we had, I mean, I've gotten crap for saying old man Vader when he was about the same age as Tim. Anyway, but like he was beat up. He was old. He had lost limbs in a horrible, tragic lightsaber accident and was left for dead by his friend. I mean,
it's a flyby sabering.
Okay, we get that you sympathize with the Sith.
Well, the Jedi aren't all that great. Like, when you really look into it, they're really not that great. They kidnap children and brainwash them.
They had some serious issues. But I not only that though. I mean, so you look at that and the way so there's that. I love the fact that they brought back Hayden Christensen.
Yes,
give him a chance at redemption, and to be Darth Vader with actual quality writing was great, and not just having him say that Master Obi-Wan would be very cranky if he saw me doing this and force push an apple into somebody's face.
They could have put anybody in a suit and it would have been, whatever. But that right there, I 100% agree with you on that one.
And I feel like it was a legitimate just fan service on some level. Was like you said, you can put anyone in that suit. They've proven that with Mandalorian. That's not always Pedro Pascal in the suit.
Right.
But Pedro Pascal is our Mandalorian. He is our Mando. They could have had anybody in there.
Yeah, no, they could have, and I love the fact that it was Hayden in the suit, and especially that scene, the parallel between that and Rebels, where he gets the side of the helmet cut off, and you get to see his face, and then if you're not familiar with the scene that I'm talking about in Rebels, when he fights Ahsoka, and the other side gets cut off, and and both Obi-Wan and Ahsoka get to see who really is behind the mask. The Rebel scene is a little more heartbreaking, though. I will be honest. Even though, yeah.
But
thanks for the spoiler, Tim.
You're welcome. Hey, it's been out for a long time. If you haven't watched it by now, not my fault.
Of everything that came out of Obi-Wan, having Darth Vader at full power, getting to see that, and they are better because they're not oatmeal raisin. They're legitimate chocolate chip cookies over there. Anyway. But honestly, for me, being he gets me. But I was so stinking excited to get to see Leia.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I was so excited because Leia has always been my favorite princess. Like she's the best.
And talk about
And
perfect casting.
oh my gosh, I
Oh, yeah.
know. She's
Yeah.
so perfect. She's so wonderful. And I know that there were people who had issues with her, but she's so snarky and I love it.
She was perfectly
Yes.
cast.
As
I
soon
love it
as
too.
she showed up on screen for the first time, I was looking at it with the that's it. This is my daughter's cosplay for Comic-Con next year.
Yeah, you were like, oh my god,
she's gonna dress like this. And then
She was adorable.
seeing the parallels in her costuming from little Leia to what we see with Leia as an adult made me very happy.
Yeah, there was a nice connection there
I love
between baby Leia and full grown Leia, and you could see how that personality progresses, and yeah, there was a very nice connection, very well cast.
and
And even though she got crap for it, I thought Riva, the seventh sister, was
Mhm.
amazing. I would honestly love to see. I said this back when it came out. I would love to see a whole series about her from the execution of Order 66 when she survived at the temple, and how she got into the Empire and how she shadowed Darth Vader for all those years and how she got so close to him and getting to the point where she tried to kill him. And I think that there's a tremendous story there. And then I would love to see her redemption past that, because clearly, she was not doing the Empire's bidding for the sake of doing the Empire's bidding. She was doing it to because she had a point to get to. But I would love to see her redemption and how she comes back from all of that into being, towards the light side of the
and
Force.
I loved that with her and Vader with the when he's like, "Do you think that I didn't know?" It's like, "Well, then how long have you known that you've been letting her do this? How long have you been playing cat and mouse not only with Obi-Wan but with Riva?" Like his absolute I don't even know what to call it. The power trip, I guess, with that is so spectacular.
Yeah.
It's fun. And I love that is part of Anakin Vader's story is as Vader, he takes all of the power that was taken away from him. He has power
Oh, yeah.
over everyone because he was denied so much. Not that I am an Anakin sympathizer, but I there is no real good person in any of it.
You see, that this is the funny thing about my standing between Jedi and Sith. I'm an anti-hero, so I go and learn from the Sith. I am not with the Sith, and I am not with the Jedi.
Right,
I'm
yeah.
like a chocolate chip cookie, but it's made out of chocolate dog.
Mm.
Do you know why Padme
What about
wouldn't
Coca?
let Anakin sleep in the bedroom?
It
It was the master bedroom.
on the same Star Wars front in 2022, technically started 2021, but went through February of 2022. I actually really liked Book of Boba Fett,
I did as well.
and I think part of it, John has a theory that it's all leading up to the Book of Grogu, that Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett is all Grogu's storyline,
It could be, yeah.
Yeah,
and
it
it
could
makes sense.
I've said this before too, and I'll say it again. I think the majority of the reason why people crapped on Boba Fett the way that they did is because they had 40 years of waiting and watching for him to do something, and they wanted him to come out of once that fist emerged from the Sarlacc pit, they wanted him to come out just shooting and killing everything in his path. And when they showed him with a backstory and with the Sand People and being accepted in that tribe and all these different things, and by God, he had emotions. Who's allowing that? That wasn't what they had signed up for.
Right.
But I think the next time we do see Boba Fett, whether it's in The Mandalorian or Book of Boba Fett season 2, if that ever happens, I think the next time we see him, he will be back to the badassery, because at the end of the very end of one of the last scenes of the series there, he looks at Fennec Shan and says, "I don't think we're cut out for this life."
Right.
As the daimyo. So I'm
Yep.
I'm excited to see where that could go. I think season 1 they were building the foundation of where they can take that character, because all that people had was the little bit that they had seen, because in all fairness, he was a background character. He stood
Right.
behind other people. He was just kind of there. He kind of did his thing. And we got to see a little bit of him in Clone Wars, but he was as a kid.
Right.
You know?
He does not have that much screen time in the original trilogy. Like, at all.
I agree with that right there. The Sand People scenes were some of the best in that show.
That's true.
I mean, I wish that we had gotten more information about the Rancor, but that's just me. 'Cause-
And
At the
John
same
is
point, too, it makes total sense. You know, you're not just going to crawl out from the pit and just be, ta-da, here I am, and there we go, you know? I mean, it is a desert planet. He was in there for, I don't know exactly how long. I'm not as much of a nerd. I'm not as much of a nerd as Tim. I'm proud to say
Tim
that.
doesn't even know, but it was
Right.
It was a
I'm sure
considerable
John
amount of time.
does.
Enough time, exactly. So it's like you're in the middle of a desert planet. It's not like you're just going to walk out and walk into town and here I am, da, 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 you know. So I did appreciate that. Even going back to Obi-Wan, also the whole simple fact of he got into his own head. And because of that, it wasn't, hey, look at me. I immediately have all of my powers immediately right here, right now. I appreciated that, how he had to build
Oh yeah, he had
that
to grow
up,
back into him.
retrain, and one of those that helped you appreciate why they had to constantly train all the time, even at a master stage.
Yeah, had to reconnect himself to the Force. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
very cool. All right, hey, let's jump into looking forward to 2023 because we're gonna run out of time here very soon. We're having a great conversation. I love this. This is a lot of fun. I'm enjoying having you guys on the show. But let's talk about some of the things. There's been a lot of trailers come out in the last week and a half, 2 weeks. What movies are you looking forward to that are coming out that you've seen a trailer for?
Transformers: Rise of the Beasts.
Yes.
Yeah, that one looks pretty cool.
That one, you know, when he's like, Optimus, we are not your enemy. I'm like, oh, yeah, give me a minute. So it was great. It was great. Yes.
I am cautiously optimistic about the Dungeons and Dragons movie, if it actually ever comes apart like it's supposed to.
Right.
As of now, it's supposed to be in theaters on March 31st.
As of now.
But that was also, how many times has it been pushed back?
A lot.
A lot.
I think 4 or 5 times at least, by my count. At least 4.
Yeah.
So, there's always something going on. That's the Chris Pine movie, if I'm remembering correctly, right? Yeah, where he's like a thief.
But I mean, it's also totally makes sense for a thing based on Dungeons and Dragons because have you ever tried to actually get a game together?
There's always delays.
Does anybody expect the movie to have
somebody can't show up on time? You know, it happens.
So it is now officially post-production. So maybe we'll actually get it in 2023.
You think the producers accidentally rolled a 1?
So many 4s, Tim.
Took my joke. I was going to say everybody needs to learn their role. Come on.
Not movie, but Netflix TV show. I am excited for that 90s show.
Yes.
So excited.
Justin, have you seen the trailer for that?
I have, but it's too soon. I'm not that old for that TV show to be out yet.
Yeah, too bad. It's happening.
1992 was 30 years ago, Justin.
Mm-mm.
Don't say that.
I'll be right back. I'm going to go.
Listen, young one. Okay.
But okay, so at least the show is supposed to be starting in 1995, if that makes it any better.
No, because that's the year I graduated high school. So
because I was 3.
Yeah, shut up.
At least with the 70s show, I wasn't born yet. I was okay with that. Like, oh yeah, that was before I was born. No problem.
Tim was driving in 1992. Yeah, that's kind of the problem. Anyway,
I was just leaving diapers in 92.
So I'm excited to see more of Red Foreman, to be honest with you.
I'm so excited for more Red Foreman. And the end of the trailer when Kitty's got the plate of cupcakes and she's saying all the nice supportive mom things and he's like, get out. Just go. Don't come back.
And Eric's daughter, very Eric.
Oh my gosh. Like, how did they do that?
Yeah, very well cast, it seems. Just from the trailer, it seems very well cast. So I would agree with that. I'm looking forward to that.
I also love that her name is Leia.
Yeah.
Justin's like, no, the 90s were not long enough ago to be a period piece. And yet, Captain Marvel proved otherwise.
I am nervously excited for Indiana Jones 5.
Oh yes.
I am a
mention that
huge
one.
Harrison Ford fan. I love Indiana Jones. One of the reasons I love Star Wars is because of Han Solo. I actually enjoyed the Crystal Skull, scientific inaccuracies aside, and the appearance of aliens at the end aside. For the most part, it's a pretty good movie.
You know the best thing about that movie?
Was when the credits rolled.
Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah, I was so nervous when that movie came out and the fedora rolls down the aisle and he picks it up. I was like, no.
Actual cannibal Shia LaBeouf.
So yeah, I was actually very glad. So I'm looking forward to this one because it looks pretty interesting. I think that there's actual cannibal Shia LaBeouf.
Do it.
Look it up after the show, Tim. It'll be okay.
I don't think I want to.
I love that I said it like a minute and a half ago, and then John's comment comes up, and then you're like, wait, what?
I heard something Shia LaBeouf, and I'm just like, oh, okay, she said something about Shia LaBeouf, and I just, yeah.
You just like phase out of it.
I also have one thing that I'm.
There's one that I'm surprised you haven't mentioned.
Okay, go ahead.
Star Trek 4.
That's true.
Is it actually happening?
It seems it is.
Because it's been rumored for a while.
It seems it's actually expected for 2023. And I mean, I'm not like vast knowledgeable about all Star Trek series. I've seen them separately and jumped it, but all the movies I have watched, and I mean, I'm excited for it too because I really like it.
Yeah, 2023 potential release date. Okay. All right. I'm down for it. I like the Kelvin timeline films. They're fun. They're December 22nd, 2023 is what they're shooting for. So, okay. John, really, John. Anyway, okay. So here's John. I'm gonna go with that. Here's one of the get off my lawn moments. I'm having a problem with the Super Mario Brothers movie.
Because Mario
we're gonna ask him about that one. Tell me.
Because they have removed Mario's booty.
He has no accent. And every other piece of it's Chris Pratt doing the voice. And so the only time you hear him speak in the Mario voice, I think Gio froze. That's kind of awesome.
For the trailer. Nope,
in the trailer. Oh, he's back. But the only time you hear him is he says, let's go, right before he starts fighting Donkey Kong. And then everything else is just normal voice.
It's just Andy Dwyer pretending that he's Mario.
Yeah, and I'm not okay with it. Jack Black sounds really cool as Bowser. I thought he was going to take that in a whole different direction, like try to be typical Jack Black, a little silly, but he actually sounds, like a pretty cool villain. From what I've seen, and I think there's 2 trailers out now, and so yeah, I'm a little put off by that.
The complaint I've seen on the internet frequently about it is that they have Americanized Mario, that they have stripped him of his accent and his butt, and it's not fair. Because they did. If you look at all of the other
accent, but
all of us men with junk in the trunk understand. That's the thing.
Justin's like, not me.
It goes upper back, thigh. Like
we're the same team. Yeah, we're the same team, man. Trust me.
I'm so glad that
I fell off one time and I was hurting for like 4 days.
and it's I don't know, like it's a silly complaint, but then when it was the only time he has the accent is that one little clip that they used in the first trailer to get us all excited about it, and then after that it's the nope.
I'm with you, John. I like the original one. It is I still like it. I'm sorry. Like,
But it is one of those things that it's so terrible you like it.
yes.
He doesn't get his butt until he becomes Super Mario.
When he gets his
He puts on the squirrel uniform and
That's what the tail is for. No, not Tanuki.
Oh
You
my
can't bring
God.
Tanuki into this. Come on, Tim.
But he's Italian. Carbs go to your.
So yeah, that will come up later.
What
I'm pretty
about
sure.
Willy Wonka's movie, guys?
There's
Eh.
another Willy Wonka movie coming up.
Yes. There's
Isn't
I have
it
not seen
Timothy Chalamet as Wonka though?
I think so. And the funny thing is, funnily enough, I don't like that much Johnny Depp compared to the original one. I like the original one more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I get that. Well, the Johnny Depp version is a Tim Burton movie, and that's always Tim Burton is always kind of, even with the Batman films. I mean, the first one Tim Burton kept pretty on the straight, and then you get to Batman Returns, and you can see the Tim Burton effect kind of kicking in a little more. He had a little more freedom in it.
Okay, so Wonka is coming out sometime in 2023. Fantasy musical. Timothy Chalamet as Wonka. I am more intrigued by the rest of this casting than anything else at this point, though.
But if you think about it, he actually resembles a lot of the original Wonka actor.
He does.
Yeah.
What on earth is going on in this movie?
Who
So
knows?
we've got Timothy Chalamet, Keegan-Michael Key.
And I mean, Willy Wonka's movies all stay true to their musical kind of movie. All of them.
Yeah.
If that changed, it might not be Willy Wonka anymore, perhaps. That's like doing a Mary Poppins new version and they don't have musical on it.
I'd be okay with that.
What on earth? There's not a lot of names. Like, there are not character names for this. There are just actors listed. And I'm like...
Definitely going to be a musical then.
Yeah.
Well, I can't wait to not watch that. All right.
But it's also got Rowan Atkinson and Matt Lucas and...
Yeah, I get all that, but
so confused.
I'm happy to skip it.
So you're not one of those people, Tim, that enjoyed Chicago.
He hates musicals.
I despise musicals.
Oh, we gotta take you then to Westminster Hours Live.
The only real musical I've ever enjoyed on Apple TV is called Schmigadoon. Other than that, not really.
So at least Keegan-Michael Key's in it, so maybe that can pull you over from Schmigadoon into...
Yeah, probably not.
But someone who loves music and loves movies, the simple fact that, it's the Reese's peanut butter cup, you put the two together and you're fine, but yet you don't like them is just
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm okay with it. One more movie, and then we'll get into our end of show notes here. One last thing I'm looking forward to in 2023 is Dune Part 2. That comes out in November of 2023. I'm very excited. Oh, that's true. I did admit to liking Phantom of the Opera. That was pretty cool. I enjoyed that. The guitar solos at the beginning were pretty amazing. So, and I actually could follow the story for the most part. So yeah, that was. It wasn't 3 hours of me sitting next to my wife going, "Why are they singing? What are they singing about? What's going on? Why?" So
there are some interesting movies coming out in 2023.
Yeah, we're just scratching the tip of the iceberg. There's a ton.
Oh, I forgot about Quantumania.
Oh yeah.
Quantumania. Oh yes.
So, all right, let's get into our end of show. We're running out of time here. Yeah.
All right. Well, last Friday, our guest was writer and animator Kim Dwinell. Kim is the author of an amazing book, Surfside Girls, which is now a hit TV show on Apple TV.
Hi, this is Kim Dwinell, and you're listening to the FSF PopCast. Part of what happened is, I've got two surfer girls. And so what happens when you put surfer girls in clothes up to here and down to ankles and long sleeves? And so culturally, we don't do that anymore. We're not in corsets. We're not. And so that says something about where are we as women and freedom and that sort of thing. And so of course Jade thinks she's darling. And Sam is like, get me the heck out of this thing. I want to go surf. So maybe you've always had, when you were a little kid, you had an imaginary friend. No one knows about that but you. So maybe you start doodling that, and then it sells as a book, and you're like, weirdly, other people know about my imaginary friend now. Like, this is sort of strange, kind of creeped out, kind of happy too. But like, there's definitely like someone has invaded my brain space. That's the feeling you get when something that's been very personal to you for a while kind of gets put out there. So you have to train your eye, train your brain to take little photos all the time so you can jot down what it looks like to run down the field and kick a soccer ball. So when you look at those drawings, are you going to put them on the wall? Are they beautiful drawings? Well, to us they are, because they're correct. They contain the energy, they contain the proportion. I would know how to string those together now and make a person kick a soccer ball. Like I tell my students, if your mother sees your sketchbook, your mother is like, why did I send you to art school? What is this? This doesn't look like art. I want the Mona Lisa. I want oil paintings of flowers that we can put behind the couch.
Oh, goodness. Well, that was such a fun interview you guys did. And do not forget that episode is still up on YouTube and our favorite audio podcast providers where you can watch it. If you watch it on YouTube, please do not forget to click like and subscribe because we love you and we want to know that you love us too.
Break that little bell.
Right?
That's right.
Be annoyed by us. Anyway.
I have it in another file, man.
Anyway.
All right. Well, this week, Friday, guys, our guest is an incredible actress who has been on many of the shows that you've loved to watch. Babylon 5, Star Trek Deep Space Nine.
Robert, Babylon 5. We have a hashtag for
There's
Robert.
a couple others in there.
We have a hashtag for Robert. It says, make Robert watch Babylon 5.
There it is. All right, here we go.
I'm one of the lucky ones. I was told I wasn't going to survive.
Considering that there's nothing in life that is fair, I think that's a very solid answer.
I also am pretty sure I just heard my 4-year-old yell, "Dad, that's not fair," from the other room.
It's, Star Trek is part of my life in such a great way.
I am going to go polar opposite and go completely ridiculous for a minute.
Okay, good. I'm ready.
I found it funny that the website Wikidata not only identifies you as a human, but also offers reference to prove it. And I'm sure that it's comforting on some levels that they've proved that you're a human.
Hi, this is Kitty Swank, and you're listening to the FSF PopCast.
Your home for the all-nerdy, no-dirty interviews with people in our sci-fi and pop culture world.
So I thought I have to carry on this tradition of helping people.
So yeah, that's Kitty Swink. We're so excited to have her on the show. Kitty was an amazing conversation, not just because of her work on, not just the sci-fi stuff that she's done, but she's been on so many shows throughout the year. She's been an amazing character actor and with some really cool guest spots. But then she's also done several episodes of Babylon 5 and Star Trek Deep Space Nine. She's done Star Trek voiceover work for different Star Wars video games. Star Trek video games, excuse me. Star Trek video games and Star Trek Deep Space Nine. And she's the wife of Quark. Armin Shimmerman is her husband. So there's a very deep Star Trek tie-in there. So we talk about Trek. We also talk about her fight and improbable survival against pancreatic cancer, which has one of the lowest survival rates in existence. It's ridiculous. But we talked about that and what the organization pancan.org, that website, what it means to her and why she's trying to do so much to help out. So tune in on Friday. You'll be able to watch that right here on YouTube, or you can listen to it on your favorite audio podcast provider, whether that's Apple, Spotify, Google, whatever it may be. If for whatever reason you get into your favorite audio podcast provider and you don't find us there, you can message us at info@fsfpopcast.com and we will do everything that we can to get our show on that podcast provider so you can enjoy it there. So before we say our goodbyes, just real briefly, Justin, remind everybody where they can find your awesome graphics.
On Etsy, Big Boy Graphics. Every week I add new ones, and if I don't have it yet, it may be coming up, or send me a message and I will make it for you. The other thing just to keep in mind too, I can do more colors than what's just listed. So if you do see something, I primarily do black and white, kind of test the market. If you have something dark, the white will show up. If you have something light, the black will show up. If you want something special, let me know. We can do multi-layered. Right. We have many of the unique different styles and everything else. So let me know what you want and we'll get you taken care of.
Awesome. Thank you.
Nice.
All right. And Gio, remind the fine folks where they can find your awesome show, Science Fiction Remnant.
So they can find us on our main website, which is sciencefictionremnant.com. You can find all of our links there, or you can just find us on Twitter or Instagrams as Sci-Fi Remnant, as listed on my handle too. And you can find there our Solo TO link where you can be redirected to our main website and listen to us on your favorite platform. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Thanks everybody for stopping by and hanging out with us tonight. Remember to click the like and subscribe button. Go check out Big Boy Graphics. The link information is down in the show notes down below. And go check out Science Fiction Remnant. Give Robert, Gio, and Ray a subscription. Those guys work hard for your subscription, and they very well deserve it. And our medieval Jedi is about to show off a sword. There it is.
It's been an honor.
There it is.
Comrades.
Ooh, that's shiny. Ooh, shiny.
Yeah, I polished
So
it. It's actually steel. It's heavy.
Oh no,
Justin's
it's a pen.
like, I got a pen.
It clicked.
All right, guys, that's our show. Thanks for being here tonight.
All right.
Goodbye. On behalf of the rest of the hosts of the FSF PopCast, we want to thank you for listening to this episode. If you'd like to be a guest on a future episode, please contact us by means of Twitter or Instagram using the handle @FSF PopCast, or go to www.fsfpopcast.com and click on the contact link. Thanks again, and hope you enjoyed the episode.